Eat like a king who's on a budget. 3 tasty options, fries, drink, and nuggets. All for $5. Wait, that can't be right. Just confirm that that's the real price. BK, have it your way.
Before we dive into the wreckage of that Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl game, this episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Steakhouse Whopper at Burger King. Look, the Super Bowl, it might be over, but the hunger, it definitely isn't. And if your watch party ran out of wings by the second quarter, you got to reclaim the fame, ladies and gentlemen. BK just dropped the Ultimate Steakhouse Whopper. We're talking filet grilled beef, crispy onions, and that savory steakhouse sauce that honestly has more flavor than the Patriots' first half offense. It's big, it's bold, and it's exactly what you need while we break down why Kenneth Walker III is the best back in the league right now. That's arguable, but we're going to talk about it. Head to Burger King or use the Burger King app to get delivered. Burger King, you rule. Welcome back to Leather Brains, ladies and gentlemen. We have finally made it to the other side of Super Bowl 60. And whether you're celebrating a massive parlay win or mourning the fact that football is now officially over, like I am for the next 6 months, we're here to process it all with you. All of it. Every single piece. So we just watched a game that felt like a fever dream. The Seattle Seahawks are your world champions. Sam Darnold has a ring, and the dark side defense just put on a clinic that's going to be studied for a decade, maybe more. But between the record-breaking sacks, the bad bunny wedding on the 50-yard line, and Drake Maye spending most of the night looking at Levi's Stadium's turf, we have a lot of ground to cover. Joining me today to help make sense of all the chaos, the guys who are probably the only ones in the country rooting for a 9-0 halftime score. We've got Alan Casanova Castro and producer Scotty Del Rey. Gentlemen, welcome into the show. I'm going to start out by asking this question. So before we get into all the stats and the fraud allegations that are being thrown against Drake Maye, I have to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did your Super Bowl party actually enjoy this game that didn't see a single touchdown until the fourth quarter?
Alan, you go first. Take it away.
Okay. I think one of the quotes I heard during the party was, "This is hot ass." And so that is
accurate, I think.
that had nothing to do with the booty shaking at halftime. It was just the ass that it was just steamy, just shit that we were watching in the first half. I think the one thing I mentioned two things. One, we really should have given Matthew Stafford the MVP after what he did to that Seahawks defense multiple times, and then seeing what unfolded. Two, I don't know. It was just extremely boring, and people are like, "Oh yeah, this sucks." I'm like, well, to everybody that wanted different teams in the Super Bowl, you're welcome, because now this is what you get. You get just this hot ass for the first half.
This game was terrible. This game was awful. Okay, Scotty, give us your take. I mean, did you enjoy the game?
In the sense, first of all, I do think that as football fans, I know we've gotten away from defense, but that Seattle defense was pretty fun to watch. Watching the pressure that they were getting off the offensive line, watching Gonzalez on the other side just totally making plays for keeping the Patriots in the game. Like, there was a lot of good, entertaining defense. I know it's not touchdowns, it's not flashy, it's not much of a highlight reel, but there were some good parts that I think we should appreciate. But overall, yeah, I mean, that's not really what you expect. When you think of the Super Bowl, you think of the two best teams in the NFL, quite literally, and it felt like that was just simply not the case. But as we've talked about all season, I think these two were the two best teams in the NFL. This is just indicative of the NFL in 2025-2026 season. It was hot garbage, as Alan said.
Do we really think the Patriots were one of the best teams in the NFL? Do you really believe that?
No.
It's tough because obviously, we talked a lot about their schedule and about how they were unproven. Like, we didn't know to what level they would be able to play against real opponents. And Drake Maye, throughout the season, has struggled against the few winning programs that he played against. I mean, that's true. But ultimately, if you're comparing them to every other team in the AFC, like, you can make an argument for two that played better all season. Like, this is just the kind of football we've seen all year.
I don't even know if you just said it. Like, this Patriots team, it was nobody, I mean, we asked this question last week, and Alan, you weren't here, and you'd given us your thoughts, and I had joked and said you chose the Patriots to win, but you had the Seahawks winning. We all had the Seahawks winning. Vegas had the Seahawks winning by quite a large margin. Like, we all thought the Seahawks were going to win this game. Why did we think that? If you look at the entirety of the Patriots season, even in the playoffs, the Patriots had a very favorable walk into the Super Bowl. Like, it was easy for them. And what we saw from Seattle really through a lot of the season was they had a lot of adversity. They were playing good teams. They had to continue to dominate and be dominant in order for them to get there. That's why we all believed in the Seahawks team, and that's why we didn't believe in the Patriots. And that's what we saw in this game, from my perspective.
Yeah, that we knew it was going to be a defensive battle from both sides. I think I underestimated how bad the Patriots were going to look. I thought they were going to at least have some success at some point or do something positive, but over 3 quarters to literally have nothing to hang your hat on, and Collinsworth is literally like, well, they should try this, and they're literally doing the same blitz, and you're like, all right, if this is like the peak of the profession, the peak of the NFL season, I don't think we actually got there. But I'm going to be honest, rarely in playoff formats or tournament formats do you get the quote unquote best. There is just like survival, like whoever's just left standing at the end. Yeah. And I think for NFL fans, it did feel like the week 7 game. Like there was no drama or build up. It was like, here's 2 teams,
But how do you, good. I mean, if you look at it from the NFL's perspective, it's like, how do you create build up? You have Sam Darnold is the quarterback, which like I didn't have Sam Darnold doing what he did this year. And so like you can't, it's not like he's been this veteran quarterback that has been a staple for the Seahawks for years. And you have a lot of media coverage around him to be able to go in and like hype that up. What you can hype up is the fact that he's a veteran quarterback that's been a journeyman throughout the NFL. Yeah. And that's what the media did. But it's like, there's no, when you think of certain teams, you think of a player who's like the identity of that team, right? I'll throw out the Bengals, like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, like that's the identity of that team. If you go over to the Bills, you have Josh Allen, and traditionally it's typically the quarterback. You can't really give that to either of these teams. Drake Maye's a sophomore, and yeah, he was kind of hyped up, and like they were talking about him quite a bit, but there's not like a lot of veteran, I don't want to say leadership, but there's not like that figurehead of those veterans who've been with the organization for a long time
and just been able to
build that narrative. Yeah,
like you didn't know the teams long enough. This is like their first year into it. It wasn't like a multi-year buildup where you're like, oh, finally, like this is great. Yeah. Like somebody's finally going to get their ring. It's just like, oh, these guys are here now.
These 2 teams are here. Yeah,
somebody's going to get one. And I think for NFL fans, like I thought the game, even though it was garbage as far from a scoring standpoint, like it was still entertaining. Like it was still fun to watch. Like Scotty said, that defense, the Seattle defense was just unreal. And
oh my God.
I think, and I go back to my point, like Matt Stafford, like did we give enough credit to the Rams for what they did? Like was that the second best team in the NFL then? Did we really did watch the Super Bowl, that NFC title game? Like I think that all of those things were true. I think what everybody was saying was kind of like hyperbole, but when you watch the Super Bowl, you're like, no, wait, the Rams were actually probably the second best team in the NFL, and they just happened to be in the same division, the same conference, like everything. So this game was just kind of like, all right, you could even tell like the Seahawks offense was like uninterested in running anything super creative. They didn't have to. They were like, all right, we're going to get our points at some point, but we know these idiots are not going to score anything, so we'll just kind of hang out.
Which, by the way, is the greatest situation to find yourself in as a head coach in the Super Bowl, where you're like, we literally don't have to do anything because our defense is just sandwiching the opposing offense. Like, we don't have to do anything. Just Sam Darnold, don't turn the ball over, which he did a lot in the regular season, didn't do at all in the postseason. And so it's like, okay, great. Like, we can trust our quarterback, we can trust our running back, and we're just going to, piddle-paddle toward a field goal, and that's just going to win us the game.
One of the stats is, the Seahawks had the second most turnovers in the NFL in the regular season.
Yeah.
0. All postseason. 0.
They locked in. Clint Kubiak got Sam. He said, hey, just don't be stupid. We'll win the whole thing. Just don't give the ball to the other team. And that's, you saw.
For sure.
Someone should have told Sam Darnold that way earlier in his career. Like, just stop giving the ball to the other team, and I bet you'll have
Throw it to
fun.
These guys, not the ghosts. Okay, quick question about Super Bowl parties. Okay, so when you guys go, if you've gone to a Super Bowl party or hanging out watching the Super Bowl, what is the attire? Like, what do you wear? What do you wear to the Super Bowl party?
I think you rep your team gear.
I agree.
I think
I
you rep your
agree.
team gear. I mean, regardless of if you, I mean, I'm not a Seahawks or a Patriots fan. I'm throwing on Cardinals gear. I'm going to rep my team because that's what we're all here to celebrate is the NFL. And if your team didn't make it and you're not, you still throw on your team gear. That's what I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Scotty?
what the other option would be because
Well, just
I'm
like
not going to
blank
go buy
t-shirt.
like a Seahawks jersey.
No,
so,
no.
So your question is like, do you wear your team or just normal clothes, pretty much?
Correct.
So I guess, yeah, I usually default to wearing Chiefs stuff. In fact, I almost put my 2-month-old son, in his Chiefs onesie, but then it had buttons. And if you're a new parent now, you know that buttons are just unacceptable and you do nothing but use zippers. And so when I saw it had buttons, I said, fuck it. And I put them in a generic, like, Go Sports onesie.
Yeah, we
Go Sports.
yeah, I wore my Mahomes jersey. Like it's like your last time to rep your gear until you have to pull it out again.
Goes in the
August.
closet for 6 months.
Yeah.
You're not wearing this in, June on a Sunday in June.
No.
Some people might, but I think that's weird.
I might just Winnie the Pooh Patrick Mahomes jersey to bed one day. Just like
No
Patrick
bottoms.
Mahomes practice
No
jersey, that's a crop top. Just walking down the street.
I was just wondering that because I always find it fascinating because some people are like, oh, they're just kind of, I'm like, no, you're supposed to go all out. This is the last, who cares? The last game,
Yeah.
rep your team, who gives a shit? And we went to church in the morning, and even at church, the amount of we go to progressive church, and the amount of jerseys I saw was
Thank you for stipulating that.
unreal. Yeah, it wasn't like a Catholic mass. It wasn't like a stoic Catholic mass. It was like, but people were in their NFL gear. I was like, you know what, that's sick. Even their whole family dressed up in Vikings gear. I was like, yeah, that's what it's about. Like, that's what the Super Bowl should be. It should be a exclamation point on the season. Just empty out the closet for everybody and go nuts on Sunday.
I'm not going to lie to you. I go to a Catholic church. I have never once even considered wearing a jersey in there, and I don't know what the reaction would be to like the people.
We should try it.
I've never seen anyone we go to mass. I've never seen anyone wearing a football jersey on Super Bowl Sunday. Which
you should honestly do it.
Maybe my church is
You
kind of
should.
lame. These guys.
And
are
I'll go to your church and I'll film reactions. I'll be
Yeah.
the undercover guy. We won't talk to each other
You're
at
just
all.
going in with the direct goal of disrupting mass. I'm pretty sure you get arrested for that nowadays.
No, it's not
No, you don't.
disrupting mass. It's a small hidden GoPro camera, and I'm filming reactions to people seeing you wear a jersey.
Every 70.
I won't be dressed in a jersey. I'll
side-eyeing
be dressed in the most
the
generic.
nines.
No, not in the nines. I don't want to draw attention. I'll wear a button-up shirt or a polo and I don't know, some slacks or jeans or something. I'm not Catholic. I don't go to Catholic mass. I did go to Catholic
nailed it
mass
pretty much.
recently.
Yeah, you got
My
the gist of it.
nephew had invited me to go. I was a special guest for his Catholic mass, and he goes to Catholic elementary school. Catholic mass is like a workout, dude. It is like you're up. It feels like a CrossFit workout. You're up and down. Like you got to get on your the pew, like the little things under the pews, and you're singing song. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know how we got on Catholic mass tangent, but you
I don't
haven't
either.
really been to
I like
Catholic
this.
mass
I
until
like this.
your grandmother reaches her hand out in front of your face and tells you to spit your gum out into her bare palm. That's happened to every Catholic child I've ever known.
That sucks.
No gum in Catholic mass.
Yeah, I used to go to
I
used
had
to go
a
to Catholic
Zen.
school.
God would not. I'm surprised I didn't burst into flames when I walked through the door.
He probably gave you some slack. He's like, this guy's new. He doesn't
Yeah,
know.
he's like he doesn't know. He's an idiot. What'd you guys do? So do we
for
go to
Zins.
Super Bowl parties?
I watched a game with my family. I usually do that. Granted, this was the first Super Bowl in quite some time where the Chiefs weren't in it, and in some ways it was kind of
had to plug that.
well, and yeah. In some
Yeah.
ways it was kind of
Brag.
relieving because like you weren't stressed. Like you could just go watch football and enjoy the time like with people. I will say that when the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, I hate Super Bowl parties. I hate the kids
Correct.
running around. I hate the people talking over the like. I just want to lock in. And when the Chiefs aren't in the Super Bowl, it was very pleasant. It was a good time. Just got to hang out, eat some good food, and hang out with fam.
Yeah, that's
Yeti?
the general rule of thumb. If your
Yeti.
team's in it, if your team's in it, you can't go to a Super Bowl watch party. That's just a golden rule. That's it.
I'll be going to Super Bowl parties for the rest of my life then, so I don't have anything to worry about. Yeti said, "Do you guys think Tom Brady goes to a Catholic church? Only if Sydney Sweeney's there."
Which fair. It's a good reason to go anywhere.
I'll go. I'll go to fucking church every Sunday if she's going to be there.
Can Sydney Sweeney be my special guest to Mass? Is that a thing we do now? I'll bring her.
I think you probably have to ask her. I don't know if we can just declare her your special guest. Maybe we can.
Oh,
I've never tried.
I don't know how far of a reach God has. Like, what can I get away with?
So did you? I'm sorry. Did you go? Oh, Beaner Wiener.
Yeah.
Says Tom Brady is a cuck.
Yeah, we're talking.
We're actually really glad that you're here today, Beaner Wiener, because
I need you.
Yes, we're gonna.
I need you in like 20 minutes or whenever we get to that topic.
Yeah. Yes, we have a topic that's coming, and
you're saying that like nobody knows what it could possibly be.
Yeah.
We have a mystery topic coming up.
It's called a tease.
Yeah, he's teasing it. He's doing a great job, Scotty. Okay, so let's talk about the game. So Sam Darnold, he's a Super Bowl champion. He didn't really have to do a lot. We kind of covered this. I mean, the Seattle defense is really the MVP of this game. Held the Patriots to no points until the fourth quarter when the game was already wrapped up. So the Super Bowl MVP was Kenneth Walker. 135 yards rushing, 5 yards per carry, which is, I think, a crock of shit. I think Kenneth Walker should not be the MVP. Who should be the MVP is Jason Meyer, the kicker for Seattle. However, they're not going to give a kicker a Super Bowl MVP, which is really bullshit, but they should have, because he deserves it. He's the only. He put up more points than the rest of the team. He put up 15 points. He broke a record. 5 field goals in the Super Bowl. That is he will probably hold that record forever, because
he didn't have any misses, did he? He made all of them. Yeah,
no.
So
he should have been the MVP.
Kind of a no-brainer.
If there's any Super Bowl where a kicker should be the MVP and just like stamp like what the fuck was this Super Bowl, it was this one. Like, just do it. Just lean into it.
Yeah. Why they gave it to and you think about it, like Kenneth Walker wasn't even like the focal point of this team until Zach Charbonnet went out with an ACL injury, and that's not to say Kenneth Walker wasn't involved, but it was like a 1-2 punch between him and Charbonnet, and it wasn't like Kenneth Walker was the lead back the entire year. They just didn't have any other backs, so it was Kenneth Walker, and he had a good game. I don't want to take that away from him, but to make him the MVP now makes it really, really interesting, because he is a free agent, and
he's gonna get paid.
He's gonna get paid. I don't think he will.
I'm not sure.
I don't think he will get paid.
He's definitely going to get signed somewhere. He's a good back. I don't
think he's going to get signed somewhere.
Well, he has the worst agent ever. Then, if you can't spin Super Bowl MVP into dollars, then there is something really wrong with his agent.
Here's what's going to happen: Seattle's going to franchise tag him for a year. That is what is going to happen, because Charbonnet is not going to be ready to go by the start of the season. They know that I don't think they want to sign Walker to a long-term contract. And he will, if he hits free agency, he is going to demand a shit ton of money. They're going to franchise tag him, use him for one more year, and then let him go. And that is what I see playing out.
I could see him sitting.
I could too, and I wouldn't blame him. Like, get me out of here. If you're not going to pay me, I'm the Super Bowl MVP, which should be Jason Meyer. Jacob Spice says, did you like the halftime show? We're going to get to that, my friend. Hang out. Tune in. Yeah, we're going to get to it. I promise you. It's coming up here soon.
It's crazy that the Super Bowl was so bad that the halftime show is like the thing we're teasing on this episode.
This is the first time since Janet Jackson's titty popped out that we're like really concerned about the halftime show.
The best Super Bowl show.
That was the last one that Kid Rock was in, by the way. He did just a little teaser for that conversation. Kid Rock was doing an interview, and he said, "Yeah, the only other time I performed at a halftime show was everyone forgot about me because Janet Jackson popped her titty out." It's like, all right, fair enough.
Perfect.
Love it. I did want to talk about Drake Maye for just a moment, and we kind of. I don't want to say had this full conversation, but it was kind of mentioned earlier in the show. Had a respectable stat line, but really like a bad playoff run, and record for most sacks taken in the playoff at 20. So that certainly doesn't help. He went for 818 yards and 6 total touchdowns and 8 turnovers through the playoff berth he had.
Well, and that, just to step in, it kind of continues the trend that he had against teams who were good. Like all season long, he had more turnovers than touchdowns against teams with winning records, and that continued into the postseason. Even though the postseason run was historically easy, there's some juice to what you're saying here, I think.
So is Drake Maye a fraud? Do we need to see more? I don't think he's the reason they went to the playoffs. I don't know if that's fair.
I think, yeah, both of these quarterbacks are kind of like participants on the teams that were actually doing the things. You know what I mean? Rather than the driving force behind it. More like a Josh Allen would be like the driving force behind the Bills, right? Like they would have to go as he goes. But I think for Drake Maye, I think the perplexing thing was the offense itself not doing anything creative other than dropping back and forcing him to read these dig routes that Seattle was getting to. They're getting pressure. Like they didn't do anything. They just like Drake figured.
They were getting pressure with like 4.
I'm like, okay,
like Seattle's defense was crushing him.
This is a amazing defense, and you're asking your second year quarterback, and this is his first playoff run to like figure it out in game. Like that seemed like that was their game plan. Like, hey, read the defense, adjust the protections, and then go. They didn't do like very much to like roll them out or let's do some play. Like, you know, and I know it was tough because they were running the ball. Like they were finding some success between the tackles and they just like never did anything with it. And then they're like, all right, we got 5 yards there. Now let's just drop straight back and let's figure it out if he can read the defense. I'm like, why do you keep doing that? Like, why did they keep doing the same thing over and over?
And he had open receivers. Like there were multiple times watching this game where I was like, that player's wide open. They're running like an out route. And I'm like, they just have to beat out the outside backer and he could hit him. But he didn't have time. Like he was just
jittery. I mean, at the end of the day, like when you are under that much pressure, when they're rushing 4, like you can't even convert your offense to like running tricky screenplays to try and avoid the pressure because they're only rushing 4. Like they're getting that much pressure with just the 4 guys up front. That makes it really, really tough. And then when he's getting hit as much as he is, even when he had time in the pocket and he had receivers and busted coverages and opportunities, he just couldn't settle his feet down. He couldn't make the accurate throws, and it's tough to blame him. Like I do think that Drake Maye, obviously, we've all said it all season long, that he's a little bit overhyped. Like this team had this cupcake schedule, and he didn't perform particularly well against tough teams. But it's like it's only a second year, and he played well enough that like you're definitely he's the guy in New England, no doubt about it. So it's just difficult for me to put all the blame on Drake Maye's shoulders, given how historically atrocious that offensive line performance was. I mean, it was just difficult to blame him, even when he had open receivers. Like he's not making throws because he's freaking scared. Like he's getting pancaked every play.
Right. Yeah. Will Campbell at left tackle is definitely being circled because he gave up double-digit pressures. Like he definitely is going to have to move inside to guard. They need a left tackle still. I mean, that seems to be the case. You look at last year's Super Bowl, even with the Chiefs, is like the offensive line was, you know, they couldn't do anything. Like you see this happen, you know, when you have an offensive line that can get exposed by a defensive line. It's awful. And, you know, I think for Drake Maye, unfortunately, everybody's going to say wild things. And I don't think he's a fraud. Like people are probably more vindicated.
Did you say this because you own him in Dynasty?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's good. I don't think he's going to be like 50 touchdown 1 year good. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be solid, but I don't think he's going to put up video game numbers at any point in his career. I don't think.
The way I felt watching him, and I mean, you guys pretty much echo everything that I think as far as
I think
the. Yeah. Go ahead, Alan. I did not realize you'd cut out.
Yeah, sorry, I cut out for just a moment. I was just gonna say the only thing that was crazy is that he got so many first place votes. I think not his fault, but that was crazy.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad, especially seeing how things transpired in the Super Bowl. Like, could you imagine if he won and Matt Stafford didn't? Like,
the storyline would have been so juicy.
Oh, the bell ringing would have been insane. So yeah, Drake Maye is not the reason this team was in the Super Bowl. The reason the Patriots are in the Super Bowl is because of their defense and what they were able to do. Now, as far as the trajectory of Drake Maye, I still think he's on a really good path. Just like Scotty said, they got to shore up that offensive line, and it really showed. They showed their weakness very clearly in this game. They need to build up the offense. They need to give him some more tools to play with. Like an aging Stephon Diggs and a Mac Hollins is probably not the long-term answer for him. It got him to the bowl, but like for the growth and development of him, get him a young guy. Get him somebody who is a little bit more spry in that true wide receiver one, and build up your offensive line. I think I have a lot of faith in Mike Vrabel, and I think Drake Maye is talented. He needs more time and he needs more weapons. And I've said this before, and I will say it again on this show here. The Patriots are going to be a good team for years to come. They're going to be in that conversation as far as the likes of the Bengals and the Bills and the Ravens and how we think of those and the Chiefs. Like, they're going to be in that conversation. Now, whether they rise to the occasion every year or not will be seen. Right. But like, I think they're going to start being looked at not as they have been over the last couple of years without Tom Brady.
Yeah, if you look at Vrabel, that's how the Titans were too. It's the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, and the fact that they moved on from Mike Vrabel, my brother, him and I watched the Super Bowl together last night, and I was like, well, I guess Vrabes doesn't have to cut his penis off, and he looked at me, he goes, what? And I was like, yeah, have you not heard this whole thing where when he'd asked like would he cut his dick off to win the Super Bowl, and I think this was when he was still with the Titans, and he was like, yeah, I would. I was like, well, he can keep his penis,
which is an insane thing to say, by the way.
Yeah,
Right?
but if
We
if
can
you're
all
not
agree with
using it
that.
anymore, like if you got kids and you're done, I mean, I
What do you
wouldn't
mean
do
you're
it.
done? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's a great part of life. It's the same thing as if somebody says, would you give up Burger King? No way.
No,
There's some
I
things that
wouldn't
are
do
more
that.
important.
No.
That's
you know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
No.
Negative.
Okay, do we want to move over and start the halftime unveiling conversation?
Sure.
Okay. How do we want to start this? Because I know there's some mixed opinions in here. There's mixed feelings. How do we want to go about this?
Well, should we first start by going around the circle and giving our reason why we can give an opinion on a Latino performing in the halftime? Because I'm married to a Mexican woman. Alan, you are Mexican. So those are our
Alan
credentials.
is Hispanic. Yep. Beaner Wiener's here, and I believe
Wiener Wiener's here, and he
Beaner
gave
Wiener's
Hunter the
Hispanic.
pass.
He did one
Yeah.
one episode. He did give me the pass, which was nice.
So we all have our card and gives us license to discuss the topic at hand. Is Alan gone?
Yes.
What happened?
I think he froze. So, Alan, are you here?
He looks
I'm back.
happy. For what
He's
it's
back.
worth. Oh, good. You are here.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
I think I'm here.
I think you're here, but you're choppy. So, Scotty, let's start with you and see if Alan's connection here will reestablish itself. What did you think of the halftime show?
That's quite the question. I think the halftime show was. I'll say this. I'll throw Alan a bone first because I'm not sure exactly what he's going to say, but I know his general feelings. It wasn't as bad as I expected, first of all, but it wasn't any better than any of the garbage halftime shows we've seen over the last decade and a half. I mean, the good halftime shows at this point, for 15 years or so, are the exception, not the rule. They are very few and far between.
Katy Perry and the Sharks.
That was also terrible. But at
Well.
least she's a singer. I do think that there's, before we get into the real controversial stuff, I said the same thing after the Kendrick Lamar halftime show last year. This sort of performance is not conducive to the halftime show of the Super Bowl. It's just not. It's like watching a rave through a screen, okay? It's not fun for the viewing audience. The vast majority of the millions of people who are consuming this are watching this on their couch, okay? They're not feeling the bass thumping. They're not jumping up and down, and that's just not happening. People are watching this with their families. It's just not the kind of performance that should be at the halftime show. You should have, someone like Chris Stapleton, someone like Billie Eilish, someone like Kelly Clarkson. Have a vocalist actually perform. And you have Alicia Keys or Jennifer Hudson. We have such great vocalists in our society who are amazing. Let's actually have a vocalist that people can enjoy rather than just some guy. This was a circus with music dubbed over it. This is not a performance that is fun to watch from your couch. I just think that's generally true. I do think that I could go on an overtly political rant and it would be totally justified. I'm not going to do that because I respect the platform that we've built. We've built a place where we come to have fun and talk about the thing that we love and talk about football. And it's supposed to be, I don't care what your opinions are about the president of the fucking United States. We can come here and talk about the NFL and just enjoy each other's company and enjoy friendly debate and discussion. The NFL has tossed that idea completely out the window, obviously. They have gone completely overtly political. And this is not just this year. This has been several years leading up to it. So I would be justified in literally going on a 15-minute political rant because it's warranted. But I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to talk about two things, two basic ideas.
I'm proud of you, by the way. I don't want to jump on your train of thought.
A lot
but
of restraint.
You're
It
showing
is
a lot of restraint.
Self-control, yes. Two basic ideas. Number one, the halftime show objectively is garbage. And I don't think this has anything to do necessarily with Bad Bunny. I think this, again, is a trend that we've seen over the course of many years now, where it's just overtly political, overtly over sexualized slop. Like it's just not good entertainment. And I want to be angry about it, but the truth is that it really just sort of breaks my heart as a fan, because I'm a dad now. I mentioned that. I'm a dad now. And becoming a dad, my kid's 2 months old. He's not old enough to really absorb any of this, which is good. But becoming a dad, you think about things that you've never thought about before. And one thing, like, I love football. I love NFL football. I'm passionate about it. I love being a Chiefs fan. I love my family getting together and supporting this team and looking forward to 7 hours of Red Zone football on Sundays. Like, it's a big part of my life. I love it. And now that I'm a dad, like, a big thing that I'm just looking forward to is being able to enjoy this with my son and bond as he grows older and starts to develop that love for football, hopefully. Like, we're gonna bond over this and have this together. And it just breaks my heart that when the Super Bowl comes on, this spectacle of American culture comes on, the halftime show comes on, I got to turn it off until he's like 15 years old, because I'm not going to subject my kid to softcore porn. Like, I love twerking Latinas as much as the next straight guy.
What part
I do.
Of that was porn?
The half-naked women shaking their asses 3 feet from a camera is not appropriate for a 10-year-old. It's not appropriate for a 5-year-old. I was watching this halftime show with my 5-year-old niece. I had to turn it off. I watched the halftime show on YouTube just so we could have this conversation. In the moment, I turned it off because I couldn't watch my 5-year-old niece watch the halftime show. And the NFL has just decided that children are not allowed to participate in this event. This is a cultural event, and they're just not allowed to participate. And it's disgusting, and it really does break my heart. It makes me tremendously sad. The only other point I'll make is this. If you driving to work or driving to school or whatever.
I'm so sorry, Scotty. I got to interrupt to read Beaner Wiener's comment.
Dude.
His first wife was Puerto Rican. She had a great ass, but unfortunately, she was a dirty whore. Thank you for the comment, Beaner Wiener. So sorry.
Better to have loved and lost, as they say. The only other point I'll make is that if you spend any time in the culture, like listening to the podcast, listening to radios, listening to or watching TV or spending time on X, you undoubtedly have been told by one person or another that it is unreasonable for you as an American to expect the biggest musical event of the year in your country to be in a language that you understand. People are saying that that's a ridiculous thing to believe. And I'm here to tell you it's not a ridiculous thing to believe. It absolutely is simply the case that you should be furious with the fact that this biggest event in American culture was in a language that 90% of Americans don't speak.
You were turning it off anyways. What does it matter?
It should really, really piss you off. It really should.
I'm glad. Okay, that was my biggest qualm with the halftime show. Is like, I tend to agree. I agree with you as far as I think over the last couple of years. Like, I joked about Katy Perry. Like, I love the Sharks. That was probably my favorite because it was just so out of left field. But I can't think of a Super Bowl performance that I have enjoyed, like, watching. And everybody's like, it becomes this event where non-football fans obviously are watching the Super Bowl because it's one of the biggest events of the year. And like, you're watching it for the ads, you're watching it for the halftime performance, like that. People who don't even enjoy football are watching it for that. The last couple years, I've thought all the shows were terrible. And I thought this show was terrible too. I thought it was terrible because of predominantly what you just stated, what's crazy right now is on social media, everybody is like, if you don't like the Super Bowl halftime show, you're a racist. And I'm like, that is so far from the truth. Like, that is a ridiculous thing to think. I'm only racist towards Alan. But I thought of this. I didn't understand any of the songs. I had no way. It was in a different language. And
by the way, I don't want to interrupt you. I don't know if you've looked up the lyrics to any of these songs.
No.
But they could have put subtitles on. At first, I was like, I at least put subtitles on for the American audience. No, it's much better that they didn't do that because the lyrics to these songs are maybe it's lost in translation. Like, maybe I'm missing the beauty because it's not the language that he's writing it in. Jesus Christ, this might be some of the worst music ever made. like legit. And in today's culture, that's really saying something. It's really saying something.
Well, and so I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, this is very clearly a political agenda. Like, that was the whole shtick. Like, this is a political agenda. That's what everybody's talking about. For me, as a fan of the sport, sitting on my couch watching this, I'm like, this sucks because I don't know what the hell, I don't understand this language, so I can't even enjoy the show to hear the words that are coming out of the mouth because I don't know the damn words. And then I thought, what controversy it would be if in the championship game for Major League Soccer, the World Cup, let's say it's in Brazil. Predominantly, there are a lot of different speaking, like different language there, right? It's not predominantly English. And they roll out Nickelback as a halftime performance. I promise you, people are going to be like, what in the hell are we?
It's because it's not just rolling out an English-speaking artist. It's rolling out an English-speaking artist who spends his entire time talking about how, in Brazil, in your example, talking about how wonderful America is, how great America is, and basically flipping the bird to Brazil and Brazilian citizens. It's just he says it's a disgrace. I didn't catch his name there, but honestly, like it. Okay, well, it sounds like an overreaction to say that. It's not, though. It's like it actually is. It is sort of a cultural tragedy that we witnessed, and it does really, like I said, I want to be angry, but it just makes me sad. Like, it makes me sad that the Super Bowl used to be this thing that brought everybody together. Like, I don't care what you think about the president. I don't care what you think about this bill being passed or whatever. Like, it used to be like you could go to work or go to school and talk about the game and talk about the halftime show.
Your winner's out.
Wiener Wiener says the Kid Rock halftime show, especially the Lee Brice performance, was fire. Needed that instead of the bullshit propaganda.
Oh, Alan, that's tough.
Alan, you lost your.
Honestly, it's kind of racist that you thought he was going to be on your side.
Island. I did. Yeah. I was hoping he was going to be on my side. I'm going to be honest. If the halftime show evokes that much emotion in you, I think some inward reflection needs to take place because it just is what it was. I think if you're hyper analyzing it and using propaganda, which Puerto Rico is a part of the United States, so everybody's saying
okay, but and again, everyone's saying that, and all the people who say that are also colonialism.
I let you
is terrible.
Get on your little rant.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Your little fucking rant for however fucking long. You're gonna sit there and listen to whatever the fuck I gotta say now. That's what you're both gonna do.
I mean, you can say what you want, but I'm gonna.
You still haven't shut up yet. You still haven't shut up yet. And I didn't say
the floor is yours.
Hold on, I was willing to shut up until you started cursing at me. So you're gonna have to show me some fucking respect if you want respect back. For the record,
not anymore. I think you cannot, and I think you could not enjoy the show and that be what it is. I agree with you. I think anybody saying if you didn't enjoy the show, you're racist. No, I mean, it's just like not liking olives. It wasn't for you. And I agree because I think that show definitely appealed to a certain specific amount of people, which, is in the millions and millions of people that did enjoy probably something like that do watch the Super Bowl. So it did appeal to a certain sect. I think it just didn't appeal to a lot of white America, which is the problem, which does make up majority of the United States, but is not necessarily reflective of the culmination of what the United States is. I think if you have that strong an opinion, I think it just says something more about you. It could just be a halftime show you didn't like, but I think to go on this like tangent and rant of like how it's like just terrible for America, I think that's missing the point entirely. Also, of all the millions and millions of things that are on TV, if the halftime show was the one thing that you turned off the show for the niece, like I would then expect you're monitoring all TV watching because that feels
for a 5-year-old
very minor. I feel like that felt very minor compared to what's normally on the free airwaves. But that being said, I thought it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I also like Bad Bunny. That's my thing. I think if you turned on the other show, good for you. I don't think you need to blast it all over social media that you watched the other one. Good for fucking you. Shut up and watch your goddamn Kid Rock. And I don't care. That's just what it is. And the other thing, the great thing about America is you actually don't have to have an opinion about everything. Sometimes things just can exist and you can go about your day and it doesn't require an opinion from you. And I think
we have to have an opinion because it's revolved around the NFL and that's what we do here.
Correct. And the problem with that whole mindset of, it doesn't actually matter, so just like shut up and take it. Shut up and take it. Yeah, the problem is that you have to shut up and take it in every aspect of American life. And this
How
just
does that philosophically affect you at all?
It philosophically
What
affects me,
changed-
number
what
one, because
changed-
they're
what
showing
changed
half-naked
about your
women to 5-year-old children. What are you talking about? Like, this is Epstein
half
Island-worthy
naked?
bullshit. What are we talking about?
I don't remember any naked girls.
I
I
don't
just remember there was a
half-naked
wedding at
women at all.
midfield, and I was like,
The
are these people
half-naked
getting
women
married?
May have been for 5 seconds that were dancing. They weren't even half naked. That was more than what people wear to like a pool. If you're going to go to a swimming pool.
Yeah, and if there were
So I
people
feel like this is
doing
very
that,
hyperbolic
if there were people
from your
twerking at the swimming pool, I also wouldn't bring my 8-year-old there. Like,
I would be going to that pool.
you,
I would
as an
love to be at
adult,
that pool.
feel free. Like, honestly, but
I
this,
99% of the time they were fully clothed and there was a wedding going on. So the 2% that you're fixated
The wedding was
where
weird.
they weren't even
the
naked
wedding. I was like,
very weird.
why
to
is
me.
there a marriage happening at the Super Bowl? And like, how cool would it be if you
Because
got
they
to be
invited
that?
him to their wedding.
I know.
They
and then
invited
he couldn't
him to
go
their
or
wedding.
something,
He
so he invited them.
to the halftime
Yeah,
show wedding.
yeah.
Correct.
But I was just like,
I just think-
I think it was very out of left
I think
field.
if you're raging over this,
Or midfield.
I think there are plenty of other things to rage about over than just a halftime show, in my opinion.
yeah, it's
This feels like very low on the totem
it's
pole.
the typical response of, oh, it's the biggest cultural event in America, but you're not allowed to care about it. So sorry, you're white.
Rico's
You're not
part of
allowed to have an
America.
opinion.
Puerto
crazy.
Rico is part of America. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
that's totally irrelevant because we're talking about American culture.
It's a part of American culture. That's the point.
Yeah,
These
and
people immigrating here are as part of American culture.
Are they immigrating here or is it part of America?
It's America.
Okay. So all I'm
Does
saying
it have to just be fucking guys from Texas with
no, but it
big
has to be in
cowboy
English,
belts?
and it has to specifically not be refuting the core
Listen,
principles of the country in which the
Kendrick
event is
Lamar
taking
one,
place.
The Kendrick Lamar one, you didn't even understand those words anyways.
No,
So
that was
I don't
terrible.
even know-
That
I
one was
also,
terrible too.
for the record, I also said that one was bad. So
That's
you're
fine.
just
Usher, people didn't like Usher. Oh, I don't like that music. Oh, I don't like this music. Okay, then when they start giving a poll or you start coordinating the event, then you have a say in it. Until that point, they're going to do whatever they want, and it can just be what it is. I don't know why it has to be this platform of hand wringing. Just
so.
I
Can
just
we
shut
at
up,
least
turn it
agree? Can we at least agree that it should be in a language that the majority of people can understand?
That's my only qualm. That's my only qualm with the whole thing. Was like, I'm not nearly as passionate about Scotty about the half naked women. That doesn't bother me. Whatever. I don't care about any of that shit. My only qualm with the entirety of the show was I couldn't understand it. And it's like, if you're gonna put if you're gonna make this big, this is the biggest event in TV in the entirety of the year. The Super Bowl traditionally is. I couldn't understand it. I just wanted to like, and to be very transparent, I also couldn't understand the Kendrick Lamar one because the audio was so terrible, and that's also why I thought it was shit. And it's like, if I'm gonna sit here and listen to this, I want to be able to understand it, and that was my problem with the Kendrick Lamar one. Is the audio was so bad I couldn't understand anything. This one, the audio was perfectly fine. It was just in a different fucking language, and I couldn't understand what was being said or sung. And that's my thing. Is like in America. The first language is English. This is an American sport, and label me racist. I'm not, but if you want to, that's fine. I think you should speak or sing or perform in the language in which is predominantly being consumed.
I think all of that is fair. I think not enjoying it is fair. I think not caring for it is all fair. I agree. I mean, I think the part where I didn't.
I really wanted to hear
I think
this, but I think he's.
Part where I didn't necessarily get it was when people were going like, sorry, this laptop.
You're cutting out.
It's good. It's
You
bad.
said-
It's good. It's bad.
Are we talking about the laptop
Seems like
or
it's
the
bad now.
performance?
I'm back.
You're
Please
back.
tell me I'm back.
You're back.
Please tell me I'm back. Please tell me. I'm just saying. I'm not a fan of the. It's racist if you didn't like it. Like that is just pure bullshit.
I mean, obviously that's
can just
crazy.
not
and,
like
and
it, and it
it's
can
also
just- that
crazy
can
the
just
other
be in a
way. I mean,
box.
just because you like Bad Bunny doesn't make you a bad person. There are plenty of people saying that too, and that's also stupid.
Okay.
Like we can.
Correct. You want to know what I didn't appreciate, and this is going to be totally. It's going to be part of it, but I also didn't. I didn't appreciate like the virtue signaling. Like, oh my god, I'm like so excited. Like you've never listened to a Bad Bunny song. How do you know if you're excited? Like. You literally have no idea. You don't need to like virtue signal to the masses that like you're pumped for the halftime show just so everybody knows that
you're not a
"Oh, see,
racist."
guys, I'm a good guy. I'm really excited for Bad Bunny. No, you can actually just say I'm not really excited. I know nothing about this music, and then that just be it. I don't need to hear all the rest of it too. Like
I mean, that's the
There's
camp
just
I
too
was
much
in. I'm
talking.
like, I don't know anything about this guy. I'm gonna watch it because it's on the TV. I didn't even know there was a Kid Rock like secondary one.
I didn't know that until the halftime show started, and then I saw somebody tweet about it. But apparently, it ended up being like a really big success. Epstein is alive. Okay. If you're just listening, it was really confusing to hear me say that. Beaner Wiener wrote a comment and with the hashtag Epstein is alive, which is funny.
We said Scotty speaks the truth. This is football, not football. Hashtag Epstein is alive. With a bomb
I agree.
emoji.
Okay, hold on.
About
Matt,
Epstein being alive?
I kind of lost my train of thought there, actually. Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
Kid
I just
Rock,
want to say.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Sorry. The Kid Rock one. You heard it.
I was just going to say, I
just
didn't
found
know
out
it was
about it
happening.
today.
It ended up being apparently a big success where millions of people watched or whatever. I didn't know that it existed. And again, maybe if we're now coming together as a podcast, we can talk about how shitty Kid Rock is.
I wouldn't have watched it. If I knew that it was an option to watch, I still wouldn't have watched it, to be very transparent. Like,
I'm
no
honestly
interest.
like for if they have like multiple halftime shows that you can like tune into, like, hey, you can tune into this one over here and tune into this one over here. Like, I think that would be kind of fun. I don't know.
It would
You
be
can
all right as
experiment
long
with
as
that.
you're not turning into them for politics, which is what we're doing now. Like you're turning into them
that's what it
based
is.
on politics,
That's what
and
it
that's a
is.
problem.
I'm-
Like that's why I think
yeah.
we should just have a talent, have Ed Sheeran or Jennifer Hudson or whatever go and just perform, and you don't have to talk politics. You don't have to make it a whole big statement. Like we can all just come together and enjoy and celebrate the talent that exists in our country. Like it's beautiful.
here's the thing, though. Here's the what is, and it's kind of interesting. This is exactly what the NFL media wanted. Like this is exactly what, because they want people to continue to talk about the Super Bowl. They want people to talk about the halftime performance. When you look at what's ahead for the NFL, we talked about this just last week on our last episode, is the NFL is going worldwide. I mean, they have 9 games in different countries next year. That's, in my opinion, that's why Bad Bunny was the halftime performer, is because they're trying to suck in different cultures, different.
I think it's
countries.
at most 50% that. The other 50% is virtue signaling politics, as they've been doing for years. I mean, with all sorts of written words on the field and all this stuff. And
Correct.
like again, no matter which side of any issue you fall on, like I think we should all just agree. Let's please just
right.
stop.
And you're never
Like, I
going to
just wanna
know
watch
the
football.
you're never going to know the true intent necessarily. It's all going to be, you're like, maybe it's that, maybe it's this. I do agree. Like if they really wanted Bad Bunny to be there, sure, all for it. If they really wanted an artist, go for it. But I agree. I think there's raised eyebrows when you look at the backdrop of the political nature we're in. And I think that's the part I don't like. I don't like the virtue signaling.
Right.
If you like the
'cause it's
artist
just-
and you want to
we're here
have
for the
them on
sport.
there and people do enjoy that music and people do have a good time with that, then let that be that. Like the other shit, like stop pandering, stop the virtue signaling, just let things be as they are. I just don't, that part I don't care for.
Yeah. And just to round out my perspective, that's why I think it is a big deal. That's why I think it's worthy of standing up and actually making a point about this, because it's not just, oh, they brought on an artist that people don't like. It's that plus the reason they brought him on is to shove this down everybody's throat. And by the way, it's the same message you get in public school, the same message that you get from every corporation, and the same message you get at college. Like at some point, regular people just have to stand up and say, please, please just stop, for the love of God. I just want to live my life. Like, please stop inundating me with all your bullshit all the time, every day.
Welcome to the NFL. Okay, we're gonna take a break here for a second, and we are going to give a wonderful and much deserved shout out to one of the best places in the entirety of the world.
This combo meal's got combinations. Make this thing your own creation. Entree, drink, and choice of sides. Oh, and it's free to swap fries. BK, have it your way.
All right, we are taking a quick break from the Bad Bunny halftime debate to talk about a different kind of MVP. We're talking the $4.99 double cheeseburger meal at Burger King, baby. We know the feeling. You spent your whole monthly budget on prop bets and premium dips for this big game. I know I have been there, and that's why this $4.99 meal is the ultimate post-Super Bowl recovery play. You get not one, but 2 flame-grilled patties, melted cheese, fries, and a drink for just a cheap, cheap price of $5. In 2026, finding a win for under $5 is harder than finding a New England fan who isn't blaming the refs right now. So, it's Whopper Wednesday this week, ladies and gentlemen. Royal Perks members can snag a Whopper for $3.99 on the app. Do not overthink your lunch like the Patriots overthought those goal line stands. Get to Burger King. Have it your way. You rule. Appreciate the sponsorship, Burger King. Thank you for keeping the lights on. And now Let's talk. Let's lighten the mood. I think things got a little dark here. I think Scotty actually left, probably because his bladder is the size of his 2-month-old son. Let's lighten the mood. Let's talk about the commercials. So, Jack Podolsky says, "Don't you want the biggest stars to perform? He's one of the most listened to artists in the world. Folks from other countries have performed in the Super Bowl." Jack, we're done talking about it. If you want to listen to the rave, go back, or the rant, go back about 10 minutes, probably longer at this point, 25 minutes. The whole rant's there. We're going to talk in a lighter conversation. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl ads. So were there any Super Bowl ads that come to mind for you guys that got an audible laugh, that you thought were great, that really hit their stride and earned themselves a conversation in the Super Bowl commercial conversation?
I guess I'll just admit it. Because I was watching with family, I wasn't paying as much attention to the to the ads in between. That's when I'm getting up and eating or using the bathroom, whatever. I tried to look up a couple lists because, all these news outlets are trying to they'll compile lists of the best Super Bowl ads, and I probably watched 15 of them or so. I didn't see a single one that I thought was funny, and it might just be that the list, it was like CBS. Who the fuck knows who's putting that list together at CBS? Maybe he's a moron, or she, equal opportunity morons. But I didn't see anyone that I liked. So I don't know if you guys have a handful of them, but I got the impression from the small amount of time I spent sort of researching it that this might be like a historically bad run of Super Bowl commercials.
There were a couple good ones, I would say. There were some that made me chuckle. There were some that had potential. I thought overall it was a dud. I think if you were putting them all together in a box, you'd be like, wow, this is not very good. Some of them tried way too hard with celebrities. You could tell they were trying to get as many celebrities as they could in the shot to be like, oh, wouldn't this be cool if this person was in our commercial? And I'm like, no, this commercial sucks. There's one about the liquid IV and the peeing, which was really good. It's just showing people with yellow pee and they're not very hydrated. I thought that one was pretty clever because but then we're also I think all of us were to the age now where we're targeted. We're definitely we're targeted. They're doing things that are oh, this, we'll play this song and we'll do something for Jurassic Park. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, you know exactly what you're doing right now.
I thought that one was terrible. The Jurassic Park one, it sucked.
Yeah. There's a lot of them that suck, but I think the liquid IV one was pretty good. And I know, Slaps, you have one that I thought was pretty good too.
I do. It was the Benson Boone and Ben Stiller one, and it was Instacart, and it was pretty early on in the Super Bowl, and it was for Instacart, and they were playing a song, they were on stage, and it was Instacart lets you choose your bananas, and it still is just sitting with me. It's resonated with me this entire time, which means the ad definitely worked. And so Benson Boone is notorious for doing a bunch of flips during his performances and stuff. So he's on stage with Ben Stiller. They're dressed the same and they're co-singing this song. And so Benson Boone does a backflip after he sings his little verse. And then Ben Stiller looks audibly jealous that he did a backflip. And so then you see Ben Stiller walk up to the top of the stage where there's stairs and they have drummers and everything. And he does a backflip off the stage after he sings his, and he smashes against the wall, destroys all of the drums. And they were speaking with an accent, both Benson Boone and Ben Stiller. And Benson Boone's like, Gary, and runs over to him, and then he falls. I don't know. I just watching someone fall from that height and smash into drums just brings me audible laughter. And I was dying at the entirety of the commercial. That was my favorite one.
That was pretty just good. Okay.
That was pretty good. Overall, though, didn't they would normally do these commercials, and then you would see them throughout the year, or for at least a few months, they would still play them. You're oh, that was so funny. I feel like all of these are just they're just going to delete them because there's no reason to show us.
There was one. I'm glad you brought this up. There was one commercial that I saw prior to the Super Bowl, and I want to say it was State Farm. And it had Danny McBride and one of the Key and Peele guys. I always forget his name.
Key or Peele?
It's Key or Peele. I always get them confused. And they were. It was him and Danny McBride in this commercial together, and I was like, "Oh, are they the new faces of State Farm?" And then the Super Bowl, they had a commercial, and they were doing it with State Farm, and I was like, "Oh, so they must have clipped it." So we might see some more of them in some State Farm commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
but-
usually if a place like State Farm gets some celebrities, they probably shot several commercials in that little
Sure.
stand, so we'll probably see him more. of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Which Danny
Overall,
McBride's
though,
pretty funny.
He's
So are
hilarious.
Key and Peele. I like both of them.
Yes, they are all very funny. So I was happy with that. There was one commercial where my brother, we were sitting on the couch, we were watching this commercial, and it was like raves and like Vegas shots and all this other stuff. And he goes, "Oh, sweet, they're doing a Vegas commercial." And he gets up to go to the bathroom halfway through the commercial, and I'm watching this commercial, and I'm like, okay. And then it gets to the end, and it's a commercial like for God, and it's like, basically like these are all vices and you don't need to be doing these things. And my brother comes back and sits down, and I was like, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "That was a commercial for God." And he goes, "Bullshit." And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, he's like, "There's no way." And I was like, "Yeah, it was a God commercial." So those were really the only two that I
Shout out
remember.
God.
Shout out God.
Big shout out
God.
Jesus. Okay. Any other commercials before we look ahead and close out? Okay. It brings
Scotty's got nothing.
I literally have nothing. I tried to find one. I couldn't find a
He's
single one.
just shaking his head. No.
It brings me a lot of sadness. We
Rest in
work
peace.
really hard here at Leatherbrains to try and provide entertainment and thought and a lot of conversation around the NFL, and we are now officially in the off season. This was the last game, and that hurts my heart to say. Very quickly, I just want to talk about these two teams, Seattle and the Patriots. So where does your mind go as far as Seattle is concerned and the future of Seattle with them in the Super Bowl this year? They have kind of a young core on the defensive side. Clint Kubiak's going to the Raiders. Do you consider them a powerhouse in the NFC? Do you think this was just a showcase of what the NFL was this last year, and that's why the Seahawks are there? Like, where do you guys think of the Seahawks moving forward into next season?
I think it largely depends on what the coaching change does to Sam Darnold, because you can win the Super Bowl. I don't know how bought in I am with Sam Darnold. I mean, we saw him turn the ball over a lot in the regular season. He played well. Like, I don't want to take anything away from him, and he obviously, the way he turned his career around and over the last 2 years has been very admirable and exciting to watch, and I'm rooting for the guy. But nobody would be surprised if next year he sort of reverts back into the old Sam Darnold. And it may just be my own stupidity. Like, maybe he's proven that we don't have to worry about that anymore, and I'm just holding on to old thoughts. But something deep down inside of me is still like, I can't really call the Seahawks a powerhouse team with Sam Darnold as quarterback until he proves more. And I know he just won a Super Bowl, but I just still, my heart of heart, I feel that way. I'm not sure if that's reasonable.
Well, this is what you're not going to hear probably from the likes of Stephen A. Smith and like all the other talking heads in media is like that. I want honest thoughts and opinions here, because this is not groupthink. This is, what do you believe? And I think there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, I think I'm with Scotty on that, because that was my first thought, is I got to figure out what they're doing with Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
because I think they got there, but even if you go, you talked about Drake Maye missing some open wide receivers. So did Darnold. Like, he had guys streaking that he didn't hit. Like, this could have been even worse. Like, this could have been a total beatdown. Like, and it was, but they could have scored even more points. I think there is more there to this team. I think you can't rely on this defense being all worldly all the time. I think you got to still figure out what you're going to do on offense to generate points. And knowing that the Rams aren't going anywhere, they're reloading. I think that becomes imperative, because I don't think they're going to be able to replicate everything they did this season, depending on how these contracts work out and what everything
schedule
looks like. Yeah, and I mean that too. But I'm still in that. Like, Sam Darnold didn't win them this game. Sam Darnold, again, it was a good defense, but I think they still have to figure that out. They have to ask themselves that question too. Now, he's still going to be there next year. So I think what it ultimately becomes is an exercise of like, okay, how do we keep him? How do we keep this team rolling, knowing that we may not have the best quarterback ever, but how do we keep things more the same, where we can replicate, where we don't have to put as much stress on them? And I think that's what they got to figure out. But I think that's my thought. That's where my thoughts go for the Seahawks.
Okay, let's. My thoughts are largely in that same camp. As I think defensively, I think they're a young group. I think they will they'll have to lean on their defense, and they really need to figure out a way to get their offense more in that high-powered tier in order for them to compete. And I think their schedule is going to get a lot tougher, obviously, because they just won it, and traditionally you see that happen. Over on the Patriots side, what do we think of the Patriots moving forward? I've already kind of shown my hand here, and so I'll abstain from starting on this one. But where are we at with the Patriots going into next season?
I mean, if my concern about the Seahawks is I'm not exactly sure how Sam Darnold is going to be consistent going forward, I don't really have that concern with Drake Maye and the Patriots. So, if on one hand, I'm a little nervous about Sam Darnold, and maybe I'm totally wrong. On the other hand, I think Drake Maye is the guy. I think everybody knows that he's the guy. I think they're going to build around him. I think it's only his second year. He's only got up to go. Vrabel is clearly a very capable coach and someone who works well with this young core. And I think that as they rebuild their offensive line and find some new weapons who aren't, getting divorced with Cardi B in the middle of the Super Bowl or whatever, like they very well have the up and up. And I think generally speaking, if you're a Patriots fan, first of all, making the Super Bowl is awesome. Everyone's going to talk shit about the schedule, but hey, you made the Super Bowl. You won the games you needed to win. Like, you're proud of this. And then you are totally optimistic. Like, there are things you got to work on, but you feel like you are right there competing with the best teams in the AFC for the long term.
Correct. I think, I would like to see the development of Drake Maye. You'd like to see him take another step with this offense. I do think they just need more weapons and more line. I don't think anybody's expecting the Patriots. I think also what Scotty's kind of saying is nobody's like really expecting, nobody would fault the Patriots if they didn't make it back. Yeah. They'd be like, okay, yeah, you got there because of the schedule. You had some missing pieces. We understand that. Like, all good. I think for the reverse for the Seahawks, and like what we're saying is people are kind of expecting it now because they did look so good. They did look so dominant. And I think that's going to be their challenge. And I think the expectation for them. But I think for the Patriots is continue to develop Drake Maye, give him some more weapons. I would love to see more creative plays with Drake Maye, get him more comfortable reading the defenses, because it's not going to let up. Like, that's going to continue to happen. Yeah. I think that's just what they have to do. But I think the future is bright for them as an organization. They're all still fairly new, and so are the Seahawks, but I think they just have a lot more pieces that need to get ironed out versus the Seahawks are like, okay, I feel like we have everything we need. Now, how do we replicate it? Which is a very different headspace.
Yeah. Okay. Well, gentlemen, that wraps up the show. Next week, we're going to be doing an award ceremony. We're going to be doing the Leather Brains awards that we give out to NFL players, and that is going to be fan voted. So all of you out there, go follow us on social media. We will be rolling out a poll here in the next day or two, so you guys can vote on who you think should win all of the Leather Brains awards that we will be bringing to the table next week. And
if you're one of the folks watching on YouTube or whatever, if you got an X account, come join X. That's our biggest base. We've got 40,000 Brainiacs over there that are constantly engaged in conversation. So if you're just like one of the few people who are like, oh, I found these guys on YouTube and they're kind of funny, come join. We do stuff all week long, every single day. We're having conversations with our big community over on X. So come join, and we want you there. We want you to participate in the award ceremony.
We want you, baby.
We want you.
We want you. Scotty's right. So go follow us on all socials. We're on Instagram as well, and we're having stuff go out all the time. So next week will be the awards ceremony, and then I believe we're going to take a couple weeks off. This is we do this show almost all year round, and it can be a little taxing at times. And I think we've definitely earned ourselves a couple weeks break before we get into the off season, where we'll start talking about all of the players that are coming in and all of the scouting that is going to be involved there, and all the off season headlines, the moves, all that kind of stuff. So that is the plan for the foreseeable future. If you made it to the end, appreciate your guys' continued support. Thank you, Burger King, also for sponsoring us. Gentlemen, let's get out of here. Let's end this one on a high note. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We
are
out.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you tune into our new releases every week on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out leatherbrains.com for all of your fantasy football needs. And remember, Brainiacs, a championship should be more than a fantasy.